This is a case study on Lake Nyos. Lake Nyos is a crater lake about 1.5 square kilometers large and was found in Cameroon, Africa. Until about 1986, it was a quiet, beautiful blue lake surrounded by a bunch of small farming villages and herds of cattle. Unfortunately, no one knew the danger lurking underneath. A pocket of magma lies beneath the lake, slowly leaking carbon dioxide, CO2, into the water, which then converts it into carbonic acid. Because the lake is nearly 600 feet deep, the pressure exerted on the water at the bottom of the lake usually keeps the dissolved carbon dioxide trapped far below the surface. So, as it turns out, underneath this lake, which is located about right here on the map in Cameroon, Africa, there's actually a pocket of magma way beneath the lake. And this pocket of magma releases gas. It releases carbon dioxide, CO2. And that carbon dioxide, which is being released into the bottom of the lake, starts to dissolve in the water. So the carbon dioxide is staying in the water. The water is quite deep, it's 600 feet deep, so that keeps the gas from escaping. So the gas is going to stay at the bottom of the water. Now, as more gas gets released into this lake, the pressure is going to build over time. Sort of like a pop can. When you shake it up, right? It is a little bit dangerous, could explode. And unfortunately, that's what happened with this lake. There was a gas eruption. On August 21st, 1986, a disturbance released the trapped gases. Lots of these pressurized gases stored at the bottom of the lake. Something happened to release it. Scientists aren't sure, but they suspect a rock slide occurred at the edge of the lake. Whatever the cause, an upwelling of CO2 occurred that erupted into the air while the villagers were sleeping. Because CO2 is denser than air, it means it's heavier than air, the cloud of gas spilled down the hillside to the valley below. More than 1,700 people and 3,500 livestock died from carbon dioxide poisoning as the gas cloud covered the surrounding villages. Only 4 people survived by running to higher ground. So remember, this wasn't actually too long ago. This happened in 1986, and unfortunately, it did cause quite a few deaths. So when all of this carbon dioxide gas was released, it's heavier than air. So it did not rise up into the atmosphere. Instead, it sunk down to the ground, to the nearby villages, and unfortunately, we would die from that, from carbon dioxide poisoning. We need regular air. We need oxygen, not carbon dioxide. Lake Nyos is one of only 3 lakes known to be saturated with carbon dioxide in this way. So thankfully, you do not have to worry about this with any of our lakes. This is quite rare because this was a very special circumstance where the gas was able to build up due to the magma underneath. All 3 lakes are located in Africa. After the massive asphyxiation event at Lake Nyos, siphons were installed to allow the gases to naturally leak to the surface in smaller quantities, preventing another large carbon dioxide eruption. So thankfully, they realized that there was an issue with this lake because at first, no one knew why all the people and all the animals in these towns died. Right? They figured out that there was this huge event, something that caused these deaths. They had no idea it was the lake. And it took a little bit of researching for them to figure out what happened. They wanted to prevent this from happening again. So they basically installed siphons. They installed pipes to allow the gases to slowly move from the bottom of the lake to the top of the lake and release these gases slowly over time so that no one's going to get poisoned here, essentially. And that is the end of the reading. I also included this picture here to kind of give you a better idea of how this happened. So here we see the lake, and we've got this magma chamber underneath. This magma chamber is releasing gas into the lake. And because the lake is so deep, right, the pressure from all of that water keeps the gas from rising to the top. So the gas is going to sit here at the bottom of the lake, and it's going to build in pressure over time as more and more gas is released into the lake. So it's getting pressurized like a pop can. Something is going to happen to disturb this lake, and that's going to cause all the pressure to release at once. There's going to be an explosion, and this gas is going to be released. Now remember, this gas is heavy, so it's not going to rise up into the atmosphere. Instead, it's going to sink down and stay near the ground. And unfortunately, if there's a village here where this gas is going to be sinking to, that is going to blanket the entire village, and we're not going to have air to breathe. And so this would cause carbon monoxide poisoning. Make sure you watch the other videos. There's a great example here of how the gas is sinking and can cause this asphyxiation where there's no air for individuals to breathe. And that is the end of this reading. Make sure you meet your word requirements, these 30 words for each of these questions, but there's only 3 questions, so it shouldn't take too long. Thank you.